It started like any quiet Saturday morning on my property, coffee in hand, porch creaking under my boots, birds cutting through the silence like wind chimes. My name's Tyler, and I live 20 miles outside of town on a stretch of land my grandfather left me. It's not much to most people, just trees, open fields, and the occasional deer, but to me, it's home. Peaceful, predictable, or at least it used to be. That peace shattered when I heard the unmistakable clatter of folding chairs toppling over and someone shouting, "You're about to run over the wedding cake." I killed the throttle on the brand new tractor I'd just climbed into. And that's when I saw her, the bridey in full white gown, bouquet midair, standing frozen in my backyard like a deer about to get plowed by a 12-ton John Deere. I was supposed to have the field clear for tilling. I'd coordinated everything down to the minute with the dealership. But instead of open space, I was looking at a full-blown wedding. Tents, chairs, a DJ booth, and pastel-dressed guests sipping champagne like this was some kind of vineyard retreat. I hadn't invited anyone. Hell, I didn't recognize a single face. I spotted her near the center, Audra, the legendary HOA queen from the next subdivision over. Everyone in town had a story about her. I'd only seen her once before, chewing out a bank teller over complimentary lollipops. She turned to me, all fake warmth, and said, "Oh, Tyler, we hoped you wouldn't mind. It's just so scenic out here, and your lawn was too perfect to pass up. You're having a wedding on my land. It's only a few hours. The guests won't even go inside. Honestly, we assumed it wasn't being used," she said, waving a manicured hand like I was being ridiculous. "You assumed?" "The groundskeeper said it was fine." "I don't have a groundskeeper." Audra didn't flinch. "Well, we'll be gone by nightfall." I opened my phone. The dealership had texted they were 10 minutes out. I looked back at Audra. "I have a tractor delivery coming. Can't you reschedule?" "It's arriving on a flatbed. Today. I planned this a month ago." She smiled, all condescension and lipstick. "Then tell them to go around. Lady, this is my land, not a community park." She leaned in like we were best friends. "Tyler, don't be that guy. This is my daughter's big day. You're trespassing. If anything gets damaged, I'll hold you personally responsible." She sighed dramatically. "You never smile at the HOA meetings." "I'm not even in your HOA," I snapped. That's when the flatbed appeared over the hill, carrying my tractor like it was a war machine. I grinned. The timing was perfect. Guests started murmuring as the truck backed down the gravel path I'd marked last week. The bride came out of the tent just in time to watch her aisle runner get whipped around by the engine's breeze. A groomsman tripped over a chair. The photographer yelled at the driver. Audra stormed toward me with finger raised. "Stop the delivery," she screeched. "Sorry," I said. "This was scheduled." "You weren't." The tractor rolled down the ramp like it was sent from heaven. A kid tried climbing one of the tires until the driver leaned out and barked, "This ain't a jungle gym, kid." Audra's face turned crimson. She pulled out her phone. "I'm calling the police." "Go ahead. Be sure to tell them you broke onto private property to throw a wedding. You could have said no when we were setting up. I wasn't here. You never asked." She stomped to her SUV and parked it directly in the tractor's path. The driver honked. "Move the damn car," he yelled. She didn't. The bride yelled. The groom looked like he wanted to disappear. The wedding planner came up to me, clearly ready to cry. "If we delay just an hour, we'll be gone." "No. You showed up without permission. That's not my problem." Right then, a loud crunch turned everyone's head. The caterer's van had clipped the flower arch and dragged it halfway across the lawn before sinking into soft ground. The flowers were wrecked. The bride screamed. Audra still refused to move. I called the sheriff. Turns out, a neighbor had already filed a noise complaint, so an officer was en route. When he pulled up, he took one look at the scene and said, "What the hell's going on here?" "They're hosting a wedding on my land without permission," I explained. "She blocked a scheduled equipment delivery. I have documents to prove everything." Audra cut in. "We got verbal approval from the manager." "Do you have a property manager?" the officer asked. "Nope. I live here. Alone." "Do you have any written permission to be here?" he asked Audra. She blinked. "It was arranged through the wedding planner." The planner shook her head. "I was told she had permission." "Do you want them removed?" the officer asked me. "Yes." He turned to the crowd. "Pack it up, folks. You're trespassing." Audra erupted. "This is my daughter's special day." The officer didn't flinch. "Then you should have rented a venue." Audra turned to me, eyes blazing. You just love ruining people's joy, don't you? I glanced around at the wreckage and smiled. Nope. I just love tractors. By the time the last car left, the lawn looked like a battlefield. The sheriff stayed to log everything. Audra paced near the road, cursing everyone from the planner to the DJ. The driver and I got the tractor parked where it should have been hours ago. The next morning, my cousin sent me a link. A video of the whole debacle had gone viral. Someone captured everything from Audra's meltdown to the tractor's dramatic entrance. The internet labeled her wedding crashzilla. Memes exploded. One of her yelling at the sheriff read, "My special day, more like your eviction notice." Audra left me a voicemail threatening legal action. 2 days later, I was served. She was suing me for $5,000 in emotional damages. I laughed. My cousin Laura, a civil attorney, agreed to defend me. In court, Audra gave a soap opera performance about how I destroyed her daughter's wedding. Then Laura stood, cool as ice, and handed over evidence. Tractor delivery receipts, land ownership, photos of my private property signs, and screenshots of Audra bragging online about getting a free venue. The judge barely looked up. "Do you have written permission to be on his land?" I was told by someone that it'd be fine. Case dismissed with prejudice. Consider yourself lucky he didn't countersue. Outside, Audra hissed threats. I ignored her. She tried petty revenge, city code complaints, online rants. Nothing stuck. Then a florist emailed Mesh hadn't been paid either. Audra had promised exposure. The florist, caterer, and photographer all sued her. Karma, at last. I built a sign, private property. No weddings. No photo shoots. No exceptions. Tractor has right of way. People came to take selfies with it. Weeks later, one of the bridesmaids dropped off a letter from the bride. She apologized, said she hadn't known the wedding was on stolen land. They postponed the marriage. Her final line: "I wish someone had stood up to her sooner." I stood for a long time with that letter in my hand. The wind stirred what little was left of that day one last confetti scrap caught in the fence. I plucked it loose and smiled. Some people plan weddings. Others plan consequences. Audra got both.